Nestled in the heart of rolling hills, Fairview was the picture of peace. Sunflowers stretched toward the sky, their cheerful faces welcoming folks passing through. The air was always filled with the sweet songs of birds. Tom, a strapping young carpenter, called Fairview home. He dreamed of building the biggest and best barn the town had ever seen.
I want to build a barn that will stand for generations, a testament to my skill.
Tom had a way with wood. He could coax the toughest oak into graceful curves and make a pine board sing with beauty. He poured his heart and soul into his work. Every swing of his hammer echoed with his passion. He started sketching plans.
I want a barn that's both practical and beautiful. Sturdy stalls for the animals, plenty of room for hay, and a big loft for storing tools and supplies. This barn will be my masterpiece.
Word spread fast in Fairview. Everyone was excited about Tom's ambitious project. They knew he was a talented carpenter. Folks stopped by to offer encouragement and to hear all about his plans. One sunny afternoon, a wagon rumbled down the road. Ben, another villager, hopped down with a twinkle in his eye and news of his own.
Tom, I hear you're building a barn.
The biggest and best Fairview has ever seen.
Well, get ready for some competition, my friend. I'm building a barn too.
Tom was taken aback. He hadn't expected anyone else to have the same idea. He looked at the wood he had carefully stacked, a pang of jealousy shooting through him.
Don't worry, Tom, there's room for 2 barns in Fairview. We can help each other out.
Tom tried to return Ben's smile. He knew Ben was right, but a nagging doubt crept into his mind. What if Ben's barn turned out to be better than his? The thought left him feeling uneasy. Tom started working harder. He woke up before the sun and kept hammering away long after the stars twinkled in the sky. He barely stopped to eat. One evening, as the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the field, Tom saw Mr. Miller walking towards him. Mr. Miller was the oldest man in Fairview, known for his wisdom and his kind heart. Tom poured out his anxieties to Mr. Miller. He confessed his fear that Ben's barn would be better and admitted to feeling envious of Ben's progress.
Tom, let me tell you a story.
Mr. Miller began, his eyes twinkling with understanding.
Many years ago, when I was just a young man, I felt the same way you do now. I wanted to be the best farmer in Fairview. My neighbor, old Caleb, was known for his prize-winning pumpkins. I spent all my time trying to grow pumpkins bigger than Caleb's. I used special fertilizers and stayed up nights worrying about my plants. But no matter how hard I tried, Caleb's pumpkins were always bigger. One day I went to Caleb and asked him his secret. Caleb just chuckled and said, "Son, I focus on growing the best pumpkins I can. I don't worry about what my neighbors are doing." That's when I realized I had been so busy comparing myself to Caleb that I forgot to enjoy the process of farming. From that day on, I focused on my own work, and I found joy in it.
Tom listened intently to Mr. Miller's story. He realized that he had been so caught up in the competition with Ben that he had forgotten the joy of building. He had let his desire to be the best overshadow his passion. That night, Tom couldn't sleep. Mr. Miller's words echoed in his mind. He knew what he had to do.
Need a hand, Ben?
Well, thank you, Tom. This beam is heavier than I expected.
Together, they lifted the beam and secured it in place. From that day forward, Tom and Ben worked side by side. They helped each other with the heavy lifting. They shared tools and ideas. They laughed together and learned from each other. The sound of their hammers rang out like music across the fields. They inspired each other to do their best work. Fairview watched in awe as the 2 barns took shape. Finally, the day came when both barns were finished. Tom's barn stood tall and proud. It had sturdy stalls, a spacious loft, and a beautifully crafted weather vane on top. Ben's barn was equally impressive, with its intricate woodwork and charming details. Neither barn outshone the other. They complemented each other perfectly. The entire village turned out for a barn-raising party. There was music, dancing, and laughter. Children ran through the fields, their joyful shouts echoing in the air. Mr. Miller, a twinkle in his eye, watched the celebration with a heart full of pride. He knew that Tom had learned a valuable lesson. Tom's barn wasn't just a building, it was a symbol of his hard work and dedication. He had poured his heart and soul into every detail, but more importantly, it was a testament to the power of friendship and community. Ben's barn stood beside his, a reminder that true success lies not in outdoing others, but in working together. Tom finally understood the true meaning of Mr. Miller's words. Focusing on his own work had brought him more than just a beautiful barn. It had brought him the respect of his peers, the satisfaction of a job well done, and the invaluable gift of true friendship. As the sun set on Fairview, casting a warm glow over the two barns, Tom realized that the greatest reward wasn't the recognition but the journey he had shared with his friend.